everybody. I hope everyone is doing well today. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, staying safe and positive. Today is our final day of our three-part series of the Paycheck Protection Program, coupled with and in partnership with the Minority Business Development Agency COVID Resilience Center out of San Antonio, UTSA. I want to welcome everybody back today for joining us, and I hope you all have been following us over the past few days and being able to really get some practical firsthand knowledge on the PP program and how it could help your business in maintaining through this pandemic. I want to remind everybody that we will be sending out all three presentations, any frequently asked questions and documentation, and also the videos that we've been recording over the past few days via email this afternoon. So in case you missed it, or you logged in late, or you had to cut off early, it's all right. You'll be getting that information over via email this afternoon. Again, my name is Cesar G. Hernandez. I'm the program director for MileOne. Welcome everybody today to our third and final day of the PP series in partnership with MBDA. I want to pass it over real quick to Rosana Gomez just to talk a little bit about the MBDA, and then we're going to kind of have a discussion about taxation and credit for the 2020 and the 2021 PPP. Also, it's my pleasure to introduce, and he'll be coming in shortly, Mr. Flavio Lopez from Associates. He is one of our incubator clients, members here at MileOne, and has been well-versed in the PP program, helping out his clients, filling out the application and getting them approved so they can also continue to sustain their business through this pandemic. Rosana?
Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm super excited because today is the last day. So if you end up in this last part of the webinar, congratulations. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that you got very important and helpful information for your business. I just want to thank you, Cesar, and your team. And obviously, Luis is over here. Luis, for all the work that you did. It was amazing. And honestly, thank you so much for all the IT and marketing help that you provide us. We are very glad working with you. And also I want to thank you, my coworker, Halbert. I'm pretty sure that you all agree with me. He did an amazing presentations. I know I actually personally, I learned a lot about this second round of the PPP. And today we are going to have a different dynamic with this webinar. This is going to be just for you, for the participants. If you have any questions, trying to think from now on, what are the questions that you want to ask? We have a CPA, we have a person, is probably the right person to answer any of those questions that you have. So I just want to remind you that we are the MBDA, the Minority Business Development Agency, and we are here in San Antonio. We are one of the 4 different centers that we have here in San Antonio. We have an MBDA Export Center, MBDA Manufacturing Center, Business in General, and now the COVID-19 Business Resilience Center. We are looking to help you. We are looking to provide you any information that is going to help your business regarding to access to capital, access to new markets, social media. Anyways, there are many, many, many things that we can provide you any help and mentoring and advising. So if you want to learn more about the MBDA, please reach out to us. Also, if you are in Laredo or if you are in the surrounding areas of Laredo, trying to contact Cesar, he will be the right person to talk to you and provide you as well all the information that you are probably looking for in this time of this time of the situation of the COVID-19 situation. So I would like to remind you as well that we are in social media. We are in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So if you are not that type of person that like to review your emails, or you don't like to read your emails, we are posting everything on social media. So if you are interested in participating in an event, in a webinar, we are posting everything over there. So I encourage you all to follow us, as you can also follow MileOne. They are very active in social media as well. and they are providing different webinars as well with different topics. And if you can use all the resources that are available, use them because I'm pretty sure it's going to be very, very important for your business. So now we can start with Mr. Flavio. Mr. Flavio, I would like that probably you give us a short introduction about you, about your business, what is the type of services that you are providing, because this is very important. If you need somebody that is going to look your finance, that is going to look like all the money, if you need to do the tax part, he's the right person right now. So take advantage of that. So Mr. Fabio, you can start with the presentation.
Okay, good morning. My name is Flavio Lopez. I'm the owner of Lopez Trufante and Associates. So we're based here, out here in Laredo. We have an office here at MileOne. My business consists of, we're basically a tax and business firm. So we go ahead and do business setup for businesses. We go ahead and walk them through the steps of owning a business, the type of entities that they should choose for their business, and how it would affect them during tax time. We go ahead and explain to them the tax laws on a local level, on a state level, on a federal level, and how it affect them. Right now, we're actually helping out a lot of the local offices, a lot of the local businesses in regards to their first drawn PPP loans and the second drawn PPP loans. We had a lot of clients that took it out the first time, and we're helping them out here with the second round of this PPP loan application process.
Flavio, I wanted to ask you, you and I have had conversations throughout the week and stuff about this, and even last year. What changes now from the 2020 to the 2021 in terms of taxation and credit for the PP have come about that you've been researching?
Well, basically, in regards to taxation for 2020, it's not going to go ahead and affect you much due to the fact that it was a government-based loan, or it could actually be called a grant, because you could 60% of it is not. If you go ahead and prove that you use it for payroll, you're not going to pay it back. So in regards to that, basically on taxation in 2020, there's not going to be any effect. Probably in 2021, as things change. One of the biggest changes from the first round to the second round is the reduction of 25% gross receipts. That is one of the biggest changes that my clients are having to go ahead and prove to the banks, so they can go ahead and get approved for the second round. You need to have a reduction of 25% gross revenue or gross receipts in your business. The way you can go ahead and prove this is you can go ahead and send them out a quarter. You can pick out a quarter from 2019 to 2020, and they can go ahead and take the deposits, because every deposit is considered income, and they can go ahead and do the comparison for that quarter. Or you can go ahead and have a financial statement done, and if it's unaudited by an accountant or a CPA, you can just go ahead and sign your name and go ahead and send it in. Or the other one, in regards to DBAs or sole proprietors, persons that do a Schedule C, that don't have employees, that actually apply through their income tax return, they can go ahead and send in a 2020. And if it hasn't been filed to the Internal Revenue Service, they can put their name in the front and date it, and that will be considered. But that the amount there should be actually the amount that is actually going to be reported to Internal Revenue Service when they actually do file. And that is how they can go ahead and prove on that 25%. That is one of the biggest things that we actually having a little trouble with our clients is the proof of the 25% on the first and second round. For first-time filers, I think it also does apply, but a lot of people are filing for the first time on the PPP loan. And remember, since February 2020, they need to prove that their business was in operation. Okay.
So just a question, this is Hal, and just a question on that 25%. They can choose any quarter for 2019, or they can choose the full year of 2019 and compare it to a quarter or the year in 2020, right?
Yes, you have both options. You can choose a quarter, depending on your bank can actually take the proof of both. They can take a quarter, or they can take the whole year. I had a client that already did his yearly sales tax report for 2020. So we had that do a comparison for a reduction of the 25%. They had 2019 and 2020. We did the whole year for him. And when you're filling out the application, it gives you the option to go ahead and pick out a quarter or pick out the whole year. Or in one of them that I did for Compass, it tells, it was actually, yeah, it gives you the choice to go ahead. You can actually prove that reduction when you start doing the forgiveness application.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So what if I do not use 60% for payroll or 40% for the other expenses? In other words, I may not qualify for forgiveness. Will that affect me on my taxes?
Well, actually, no. When you go ahead and do the forgiveness loan application, and they go ahead and determine the amount that you owe, when they do go ahead and start charging, you're just going to be basically like a loan. When you took out that loan in your business accounting, you should have put it as a notes payable in there, because it's actually a loan. You know what I mean? It's not going to go ahead and affect your taxes. They're not going to they're going to go ahead and consider it as a loan when they do have to start charging. I had people from the first round, they received a letter. It stated October 31st, 2020, and 10 months after that, they have to go ahead and apply for the first round PPP forgiveness on that one.
Flavio, I have a question for you. I don't know if this is an ignorant question or no, but if I am sole proprietorship, I'm under that category. And do you think that I need to hire a CPA company to do my taxes, or do you think that I can do it by myself? Because I know we have clients that they say like, no, I don't have a CPA, I don't have even a bookkeeper. I will do it by myself. So what is your recommendation to those sole proprietors that they want to do the taxes by themselves?
Well, most of the time I do go ahead and tell my clients that if they only have a simple return, and they actually, a lot of the people are sole proprietors, but they do receive a 1099. Most of them do. But if they go ahead and provide and sell a product, they're already paying sales tax. Okay, so most of the income is already recorded with the state controller, and a lot of them underreport, thinking that it's not going to happen. That my neighbor told me to do this and to do that. So I always advise them to get professional help on that, and go with someone that can actually help them, because a lot of this, you leave a paper trail during the whole year, and you cannot just go ahead and adjust your tax return to your benefit. So yes, I would recommend somebody that has a Schedule C, at least to go with the tax professional and have them look over their P&L and give them some advice on their expenses and what they actually can put and not put in, because the Internal Revenue Service is coming down hard on Schedule C sole proprietors in this particular case of underreporting.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because we have many clients that when we have this first meeting with them, that we want to learn about them, we always, Hal, that is probably the person that he had the expertise in the finance part, we always ask them, do you have at least a bookkeeper? Do you have a CPA? Do you have a company, an accounting company? They always say, no, we don't have any. We are doing the taxes and all the financial part for our part that we are doing by ourselves. So we are like, well, maybe you can have some problems because you don't have the expertise, and you can probably make many mistakes. And I just very ignorant in this part. So when you are doing the taxes, what is the process? Like, do you need to fill out a form, or what is the process that normally CPA people do for preparing and submitting the taxes?
You mean the how we go ahead and the simple procedure of just go ahead and asking the client for information?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, like I said, if the client does sell a product, he must have filed with the state controller every quarter, every month, every whatever they did ahead and tell them to go ahead and file. So the income should already be recorded throughout the year, because what you're putting in your tax return in your Schedule C for the government is the income that you already reported with the state. And a lot of people go ahead and make that mistake. I'll go ahead and report with the state because I don't pay the sales tax there, and then on the tax return I'll do this, or vice versa. So we go ahead and myself, I ask them for their bank statements. If they're even if they're a DBA, I do ask them for bank statements. I ask them for invoices. I ask them the foundation of when we start asking for information is basically your income, your revenue. We want to go ahead and have that exactly correct. We don't want to underreport. That's the main thing. We don't want to go ahead and underreport. when you're a DBA and you own your own business, there's a thin line between personal phone and business phone because you got the same phone. So, or the vehicle and the depreciation, having the standard mileage rate or doing the depreciation, or even if you lease, because if you lease a vehicle for business purpose, if you have a Schedule C, a small business, and if you lease a vehicle, you can put the whole amount under rent or lease when it's a lease vehicle, or you can use the depreciation method or the standard mileage method. So yeah, go ahead. My first step is go ahead and determine the income, and then we work on the expenses, and we have a checklist for the expenses. We send it to him and we ask him things and stuff like that. Yes.
Wow, this is very good to know, because so now that you guys are here listening and trying to understand how that part works, so you need to have probably in place the income that your business is making, the expenses, have all the recipes that we were saying this yesterday with Hal, that for the documentation and support, you need to have all the documentation ready, your bank statements, your receipts, everything. So you are going to have everything ready for that, for the tax report. We have a question here on the chat box, and it says, if I started my business in January 2020 as a sole proprietor and then changed to LLC in September 2020, but it's essentially the same business, how could I apply?
Okay, that's for the PPP loan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, basically, if it depends on the type of LLC that he did. There's you have a single member LLC, which is going to be the same. He's going to be treated the same way through the Internal Revenue Service as being a sole proprietor. And if it's a multi-member LLC, he'll have a K-1 given to him at the end of the year for that LLC. So basically, let's say Compass would actually ask you for a financial statement, or you can actually do your 2020 tax return, not finish it, just go ahead and put the amount that you made, let's say from that time to that time as a sole proprietor, and make a determination as to how many guarantee payments you got yourself paid through an LLC or the profit of the LLC, and combine it and put in a tax return, sign it on the top, and just go ahead and put it in. But that information needs to almost match the information that you're actually going to file when you do your taxes.
Okay. So
it's kind of confusing on that one because on the LLC there's different types of payment method. When he's owns an LLC, he doesn't have wages. He doesn't have a salary because members cannot go ahead and have wages. So they have guaranteed payments, and the guaranteed payments pays self-employment just like a DBA. So he's treated like a DBA. So he just needs to determine how much he will make with the LLC, how much he will make as a sole proprietor. Put it on a financial statement. He can go ahead and do that, or he can just go ahead and do the 2020 and have those numbers reflect. Sign it on the top and send it in as approved.
So Flavio, just for clarification, because I believe we saw this question yesterday too, and I did submit it on the governor's platform yesterday, but they didn't answer that question. Should she file then as a sole proprietor, or should she get the taxes from the sole proprietor or the LLC, or do some kind of combined document when she's going for the PPP for the second round here?
Look, because when you go ahead and have an LLC, the LLC gives you a K-1, okay?
Yeah.
The LLC does not pay taxes. It pays taxes on the members. So it'll reflect on the first page anyway. It'll reflect on the business Schedule C, on the 1040, and then it'll reflect for the K-1. So it'll have two lines. So she can just go ahead and put that information on both lines and then submit the actual 1040, not for the other business. Let's say we have a 1040 and it'll be business Schedule C. You can put the profit that she actually had there for those 6-7 months. And then let's say on the other line, you have for the K-1, you can put the amount that he would actually have as a net profit there on that line. And that's how they'll go ahead and determine on that.
Oh, that is so good. And that's exactly why I did not try to tackle that question yesterday, because I knew there was some way when you deal with a professional like a CPA, they can give you the perfect way to put it in so that you're getting the most accurate picture of your business, even though when you move from a sole proprietor to an LLC, it's a different company altogether, even though the same person's running the company, all that stuff, but the IRS looks at it like it's a completely different business. So thank you very much for that, Flavio. That was a very good explanation.
Hey, Flavio, I have a question for you. So I got the PP in 2020, but instead of paying my employees, I let them go. Aside from losing that forgiveness, is there any other type of penalty that you may incur for not retaining your employees and using the money for something else?
Well, that's a big question, and everybody's asking that question because a lot of people did that. They went ahead and they took out a big PPP loan, but the overhead expenses were so big that they started using them somewhere else. That is going to have to be determined when you go ahead and do the forgiveness loan application, if there will be some penalty applied to that or just the interest, the type of interest that they're going to go ahead and charge you. At this time, I don't have the answer for that one, but that question has been asked a lot. And due to the fact that a lot of people let employees go, they let them go. So we'll just go ahead and have to see what happens in 2021 for that one. In regards to penalties, in regards to not using that 60% for retaining employees. And you're not going to get the second draw if that happened to you on the first, if you did that one on the first, because the second draw, they're still going to go ahead and ask you for those 941s. If you have no 941s or no TWC report, they will probably not go ahead and give you that second one.
I also read some those trainings that sometimes we got from the government and from other colleagues about the application of the PPP, and they said if you got the PPP last year, the PPP one, they say that you should apply with a different bank if you want to get the PPP two. Is that true, or is not what they actually are saying? That I don't know.
Well, if you apply with the PPP loan at the first time and you did get the loan, I would suggest you stay with the same bank. The process is going to be a lot swifter, a lot faster, because they already have your information. They already have everything. The only thing that's going to change, if you had an increase in employees, if you had a little bit more employees, or because they can actually use your 2019 information just to process the application. Okay, you don't need to go ahead and file everything again. They can use your 19, but some people want to go ahead and have those other amounts reflecting from 2020 just because they want to get another bigger loan, or because they have some other people. I don't know if it goes hand in hand. If they get a 25% reduction, but they went ahead and increased their employees, I don't know how that would go ahead figure it out. But yeah, I suggest that you stay with the same bank, and that's what I tell some clients, because they say, no, I'm going to go with this other bank. I suggest you stay with your first bank that you actually went ahead and applied with.
Yeah, we mentioned that in our previous webinars, that obviously when you have that relationship with your bank, they already know you, they already know all your movements, talking about the finance part. So, but I read that from an email that we got a couple of weeks ago, that it said like, if you want to get the chance to get the second round, apply with a different bank. But this is very good to know. So please stay with the same bank, even if you got the PPP number one. So stay with the bank and trying to apply again with that bank. So, okay, we have another question here. If I start my business in January 2020 and haven't filed the 2020 taxes, how can I calculate the loan amount and I don't have employees?
Okay, so on that part, like I had mentioned earlier, you go ahead and do basically your financial statement, a basic profit and loss, stating this is how much I made during the year. These are my expenses. And remember, the government considers your net income as your salary for the year, right? Because if you had draws, that will reflect on your net income. So let's say you went ahead and had $10,000 profit. How would they determine it? They're going to have those $10,000 divided by 12 months. So that amount would actually be what actually was, let's say $500 per month. So they'll go ahead and do that. They'll go ahead and divide the net profit for 12 months, and then go ahead and take that month, multiply by 2.5, and that would actually be your PPP loan. That is basically it. What reflects on your Schedule C as your net profit, that's what they're going to divide into 12 months, and that's how they're going to, because that's what you would actually be getting every month as your own draw salary, and then they will go ahead and multiply by 2.5, and that's how they go ahead and determine the PPP loan amount.
For how much they multiply? I'm sorry,
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, Schedule C line 31
Yeah.
multiplied by 2.5, unless they're in the 72 category, which is accommodations or food service, then they multiply by 3.5.
That was a
Yeah,
very
there's
good
different rates.
question. Thank
But
you,
it's not the whole amount multiplied by 2.5. Remember, your net income is divided into 12, then multiplied by
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah. then multiply by
Net
2.5. Yeah.
income.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
let
is
me
true.
take notes. Let me take note of that. Net income, and you say that you divide it by 12 and multiply it by 2.5, right?
Yeah.
And then times 2.5. Like he
Awesome.
said, in accommodations and other other businesses is 3.5 on that.
3.5, because what they did this time, they understood that in the accommodations and food service industries, they've been attacked really, really hard because of the COVID-19. And in a lot of the states, they can only have so many patrons into their businesses at one time. So they took a big hit when it comes to the amount of money they could make. So they're trying to make sure to prop them up a little more. So and to me, that's a good thing. And I wish they could have done that on the previous ones, because the food service industry has been hit pretty hard with this COVID-19.
Yeah, here in Texas, we're at 50%. I mean, we do have some bars that took out an FB license and they were allowed to operate without actually having the requirements. But here in Laredo, they've been shutting us down due to the fact that they're not following COVID procedures. So I do handle a couple of bars that we took out the FB license, and entertainment places. The places here in Laredo, quinceañera places. The big man, we got hit hard. I had one of my clients unfortunately shut down. He's shut it down already. He doesn't have a lease contract because you don't know how long this thing's gonna take, and they got hit real bad.
Right.
Hey, Flavio, so this second round of PP funds that are out right now, I know the government made a very big point in providing funding up to, I think, 25 billion, if I'm not mistaken, for small businesses with 10 employees or less, right? So what if I don't have a strong relationship with my bank? What if I started my business, and do you recommend me attempting to go to the bank first to apply, or should I go to a tax professional to talk and get some help, like in your case, like somebody like in your case?
No, well, basically, the banks are your first place to go. There's your first option. Basically, us ourselves, we're just helping the clients. When the thing started last year, remember, everything needs to go through the bank. The banks have the first choice of doing the loans. So yes, you do go through the bank, okay? And you go to a tax professional to go ahead and get your tax professional to get the information that the bank is requesting. But the bank is the one that processes the application. We ourselves, last year the banks were so overwhelmed with loan applications that we started using third parties like Cabbage or People Fund or anything or the other ones, which actually worked out pretty good for some of my clients, especially with the DBAs. The local bank loan officers that were processing the applications were turning down sole proprietors with the Schedule C because they said, no, you don't have an employee. That's because most of them probably they were not informed at that part. And then when we determined that the Schedule Cs, they have the right to go ahead and request for that loan in regards to their net income for their 2019 tax return. I started using third party that helped them out a little bit more than the local banks did. Well, actually, the local banks were pretty good on it. It was the national banks that the small business owner were having trouble with because you don't have no one to interact with. Their local bank with a 1-800 number compared to over here IBC or Falcon Bank that they can actually talk to somebody and explain to them.
Okay. That's very good to know. Hal, do you have any more questions? Mute, you are on mute.
Mute.
Yes, I knew. I was thinking there's this line in there when I was doing the workshop looking at the application, and it says something about an alternative something it was asking for. Do you have an understanding of what that alternative period is or whatever it is. I'm going to try to find it. Do you happen to know what the explanation is for that alternative period or something? It's an alternative payroll covered period. Do you happen to know what that is, Flavio?
I've heard about it, but not at the moment. Not at the moment. I don't have the full information on those alternative periods for the payroll that they are letting you go ahead and input in there.
Yeah, I didn't go deep into that because I hadn't found any good explanation on what is that alternative payroll covered period. Because everything I've read when I'm looking at the IFR from the Small Business Administration and even in the Federal Register, they talk about different quarters or different years and things like that. But I didn't see any examples of what would be considered an alternate payroll covered period. And that I'm still looking for guidance on alternative payroll covered period. So if we all could just dive in all over this place and try to find that over the next few days, perhaps we can get that out.
Yeah, go ahead and my email's gonna be there on my card, and I'll go ahead and get that information for you, and I'll go ahead and shoot you one. I'll look for the answer today. Okay. I mean, I do have information on that. I'll just go ahead and do some deep research on that.
Just got to pull it up. Yeah, okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
But that would be my only question right now. And then in general, then, since we're deep into the tax period right now, Flavio, and this is probably right in your ballpark. These small businesses, either sole proprietors or LLCs or even C Corp or S Corp, what should they be thinking about right now? Because with the corporations and things like that, they have to have their taxes filed by March 15th. So what should they be doing right now as during this period of time? Because March 15th is going to come up really fast.
Well, for my clients, whether it be a small business DBA or a big corporation, right now it's already very late to go ahead and do anything. Basically, we do a mid-year review back in July to go ahead and see where they stand, and we do on the last quarter in September, we do another review to check their inventory, to check their assets, to see where we can reduce expenses in what area we can work on. At this point, everything's already been done. So basically it's just gonna go ahead and for them to answer me some questions on whatever I have, because most of the grunt work has already been done for the past year in regards to this. For our schedules, for a DBA, yeah, we can go ahead and maneuver a little bit. We have a little bit more space, but for a corporation where they keep a stricter books, basically everything has been done on that part.
Okay, let me see if I have any more questions here. No, we don't have any questions. Please make your question. This is your opportunity. If you don't want to hire a CPA, we have one here. I'm pretty sure he will answer those questions for you. Cesar, do you have any questions that probably Fabio can help us?
No, I can't think of anything. He's pretty much answered everything that I've kind of doubts or any type of questions that I've had. Just want to remind everybody, take advantage of the opportunity, right? Reach out to your accountant, reach out to your CPA, reach out to your bank, and get your documentation in order. Because if you're in need of this PP program or this PP funding, the money's going to run out, and you really need to get in there as soon as possible. And sometimes people get hesitant to do things, or they might not, don't think you don't qualify. Don't think that you're not going to get the money. Let the bank tell you no, and that's all they can do is tell you no. That's about it. So, try your best to get the information into the documents into the bank, so you can submit your application and get through the process. Because I'm sure that the funding will be very helpful, and so don't hesitate to ask for help. Reach out to us. We've got Mr. Lopez here, and he's every time I have a question, he's the first man that I go to, and I ask him, I've got this doubt in my head, and he starts explaining it really well to me. So, reach out for that help, get the assistance that you need. Don't hesitate, because it's a matter of maintaining your business, and those of you that I'm sure everyone that has a business has worked tirelessly and, had some sleepless nights, over the last year now, trying to get through this pandemic. So you're not alone. Get the help that's out there, and then seek the help that you need.
Flavio, what do you recommend to, I'm going to be positive, to get the loan for sure? Like we know, like we have to probably follow some requirements, but what is going to be probably your recommendation to say, okay, if you do this, you are going to have 90% of chance of getting the loan?
Well, basically, most banks have already their checklist. They have their procedures. And like I said, your best shot is with your local banker, the one that knows you, the one that actually wants to help you out. Those, I'm not talking about the big banks, national banks, but they don't really go ahead and have consideration of what's going on in their town. So basically, I've had local banks that we're not as strict in what they require as to the national banks. So yeah, I recommend that you go with your local bank and be honest with them and just go ahead and show them the paperwork they got, and they'll go ahead and probably help you out.
Okay, and do you think that it can influence that maybe you have a bad credit to get the loans?
Not for the PPP, for the EIDL, they did. They went ahead and had a requirement for the credit score that you had. For this one, no. This one is not based on your credit. The PPP loan is not based on your credit. The other one was.
Good to know. That's good to know, because some people, they actually don't even do the process because they say, I don't know, maybe I'm not going to get the credit because I have a bad credit. So this is very good to know that like all people can actually apply and get the chance of the PPP.
Okay, two things. I wanna ask a question that's out there for us, but I also want to mention that even though we're making sure people contact their local bankers and things like that, we still need to make sure you understand we have these micro lenders out there that can help you as well. We have Lift Fund in our area, and they're throughout Texas, and we also have People Fund. These organizations can help you as well. So if you're not with the bank or anything like that, then that would be another good option. Take a look at Lift Fund or People Fund if you want to apply for this PPP loan. And then one of the questions we have in there, what documents must a person submit with the application? And I know, Flavio, it varies. So if you want to say in general, then if you want to get specific for an LLC or for a sole proprietor or for a contractor, whatever it might be, is the basic paperwork they need to have to accompany their loan application?
Like I said, if you're with your local bank, they already have your certificate of formation on file. They already have all your documents on file. If you go through a third-party lender, which is like People Fund, Live Fund, or even Cabbage, they're gonna go ahead and require, if you have an LLC, let's say, or an S corporation, they're gonna require a certificate of formation, and then they're gonna require your bank account. They're gonna require basically documentation that you do have a registered business. That is basically it. If you have a DBA, well, it's basically the tax return that you're submitting. But if you have an LLC or an S corporation, they're going to require your certificate of formation. They're going to require those documents with the Secretary of State saying that you do have an actual business. Those are the third-party ones. Your local bank already has that information. So all you're going to probably submit is you're going to be your 941s if you do have employees. That's probably the only requirement that it's going to be.
Okay, awesome. We have another question here. Can you guys ask or mention micro lenders like People Fund? I guess they
we do. We have People Fund here housed out of MileOne. They're a great partner of ours. And yes, as Flavio mentioned, they're a third-party lending source, and they're a great opportunity to get funding when otherwise maybe you might not feel comfortable with your bank, or you might feel like, you know what, I don't do that much business with my bank, so they're not going to pay attention to me. People Fund, Lift Fund, Cabbage, as Mr. Lopez is mentioning, third-party lenders are all great resources to look into for applying for the PP program and any other micro lending loans that you may need for capital to either start your business or to grow your business.
Flavio, ¿tú hablas español?
Sí, hablo español.
Ok, aquí hay una pregunta en español de una participante que ha estado en los 3 webinars y te agradezco mucho, Jackie, por estar en estos webinars. Veo que tienes muchas ganas por aprender y te agradezco mucho eso. Lo mismo para Ángela, también ha estado bien activa en las preguntas. Dice Jackie, ella es sole proprietor y ella quiere este préstamo porque quiere comprar una máquina para su negocio, ¿verdad? Entonces me está preguntando ella que si ella debería llevar como un soporte de ese presupuesto que ella quizás va a gastar para comprar esa máquina, pues para que le den el préstamo. No sé si me hago entender.
Bueno, básicamente esa pregunta, el préstamo del PPP es básicamente para mantener los empleados. Un 40% se puede usar en situaciones en cosas de overhead del trabajo, ¿verdad? Biles o renta o ese tipo de cosas. En equipo probablemente uno no creo que les dé el presupuesto de la máquina que quiera comprar, porque eso no te lo van a solicitar ellos. Ella puede aplicar para el EID loan, todavía puede aplicar para eso. Recuerda que tiene que tener un crédito de 650 en adelante y yo creo que ese préstamo sería el adecuado para que ella compre la máquina y lo mencione, ¿verdad? Ahí, pero no para el PPP loan, no, para comprar una máquina no sería lo adecuado.
Ok.
Nada más para también, Jackie, nada más para comentarte, el SBA tiene préstamos ahorita que no son del stimulus package, o sea, no es parte del PP, no es parte del idle loan, es un préstamo del SBA. Y ahorita si calificas para un préstamo del SBA dentro del diciembre 22, 2020 hasta septiembre 30, 2021, el gobierno te paga el interés y el principal por 6 meses en ese préstamo hasta $9,000. So, si aplicas por un préstamo de SBA solamente que no sea del stimulus package y te aprueban, entonces el gobierno te puede pagar el interés y principal hasta $9,000 por 6 meses. So, en este caso, estás buscando un préstamo para poder comprar equipo, una máquina o algo. Probablemente esta ruta es ir por el SBA loan. Y si tienes algunas preguntas, por favor, llámanos, aquí te podemos ayudar. Pero, como te digo, el gobierno te paga el interés y el principal hasta $9,000 por 6 meses para que te puedas establecer, crecer el negocio y no tengas que preocuparte de estar pagando ese préstamo de inmediato.
Sí, y lo otro es, Jackie, si estás en Laredo, de verdad que el mejor recurso que puedes usar es a MileOne, porque ellos están allá y te pueden asesorar y te pueden ayudar. Estoy seguro que tienen algún tipo de relación con el SBA y es más fácil porque hay veces que tú vas directo al SBA y es muy complicado porque ellos tienen tantas cosas, tanta lista de gente que está aplicando que pues obviamente tienes que esperar, pero si vas por recomendación de alguna de nuestras organizaciones, te aseguro que va a ser un poco más fácil porque te van a tomar como una prioridad quizás y te van a ayudar. No te puedo decir que inmediatamente, pero sí van a tener en cuenta que estás siendo recomendada por una de estas organizaciones y te puedo asegurar que te va a ir mucho mejor. Me dice que, no sé César, si tú sabes, ¿cuál sería el porcentaje de ese interés, me imagino, si haces un préstamo con el SBA? La verdad no tengo
La
conocimiento.
verdad no sé, pero los porcentajes son bajos. Todo depende, como dice Flavio, your credit score, tu crédito, todo determina los porcentajes que van a ser de interés. Pero todo depende también de la cantidad. Si es una cantidad, por ejemplo, en People Fund, una cantidad de $25,000 o menos, es más fácil que te aprueben. Si es más, o sea, si quieres $100,000, pues se va a tardar un poquito más, ¿verdad? Se va a requerir un poquito más de documentación. Pero si es de $25,000 o menos, es un poquito más fácil y te aprueban un poquito más rápido. So, todo depende de lo que estás buscando, la cantidad, y luego va a determinar el porcentaje que vas a tener que pagar para atrás de interés.
She's actually asking por $5,000. So I think tienes bien posibilidad de que te otorguen un préstamo para inversión. Entonces estás en una buena. So I just want to highlight that we are going to have in February, we are going to have again some webinars about PPP. and we are going to have these webinars in Spanish. So, si usted quiere aprender más y que solamente hable español, espero que se pueda conectar y pueda estar con nosotros en ese webinar, porque de verdad va a ser en español y lo va a dar el SBA directamente. We are going to provide you that information, Cesar, so maybe you can, if you want to share that with your clients and they want to attend, we will provide you that information. So Luis, I think Luis sent the, thank you so much, Luis. That's a very good thing to do. He sent the SBA website in Spanish, so you can go ahead, Jackie, puedes ir ahí y chequear todo lo que están ofreciendo en este momento, y estoy segura que te va a servir mucho.
Good, very good.
Any other questions coming in from anyone from the audience? Now's the chance, now's the time to ask, because it's we know that it can be overwhelming to apply for assistance and to seek out the help, but if you guys have any other questions right now, we'd love to take them.
Yeah, this is the time. This is the time. I try to put some pressure, because this is the time, because then we are receiving these emails. Can you please provide me this answer, because I don't know. Why you didn't ask?
They have asked some good questions though today. So
yeah.
and then they've asked some good questions. Sometimes people are hesitant, but I've seen that in like yesterday, so many questions came in yesterday on that presentation I was on, that my question didn't even get through. And I asked it before as soon as they opened up the portal for questions, I submitted it and they never got to it. Kind of frustrated me a little bit too.
Yeah.
Well, let me see here.
There is another question over there from Carmen.
Yep.
I got a PPP loan, and also I got the forgiveness. So can I apply for another loan?
To me?
The answer, either one probably. From what all of the documentation I've read states that you can, even if the process has not begun with the forgiveness, or if the process has begun, yes, you can apply for the second one. But like Flavio was saying, depending on, well, when you're trying to get the second draw, there's that 25% in there that you got to show a loss and things like that. That's the guidance I've seen so far.
Yes, that's the big requirement. The 25% reduction in gross receipts is the main thing that they're looking for in this second round. And yet, like Ms. Brown said, you can apply for the second loan even though you already have had the forgiveness for the first loan. Most of my clients we haven't even actually started on the forgiveness. I mean, we knew that the second round was coming, but yeah, you can go ahead and do that and look out for that 25% reduction, and make sure you go ahead and tell them the truth and be honest with them. Because during tax time or in the future, they will go ahead and have that solid information due to your tax returns.
Yeah. And something to highlight is some people that probably don't attend this type of webinars and they don't get the educational information about the PPP. It's very good to clarify the PPP is not like an investment loan. This is to actually to pay. I don't remember the percentage of the payroll. Can you remind me how much you need to use?
60%.
60%. That's a lot of money from the PPP that you receive. You have to use that money. If you have employees, is for payroll. So people sometimes they confuse, and I'm saying this because I got those questions. We got those questions with how that, oh, can I use this money to buy this, to invest in this? No, this is because you have been struggling because the COVID, and you need to cover that money that you don't have because the COVID to payroll, to maybe some bills, utilities, so you need to understand that part, because some people ask the same question all the time, can I use this money to buy this? No, you just need to read very careful all the requirements, all the things that are in the SBA platform. You can get all the information over there and over here, obviously, with the answers that Mr. Flavio is giving us. So Luis, say something.
I just wanted to mention, thank you very much, Hal, Rosana, Flavio. Thank you very much for your insight, for your information. for this partnership. We greatly appreciate it. I think that our small business community and entrepreneurs here in the Laredo region got some really good information on the PP and the second draw. And if they didn't qualify or they did, and they're, whatever situation they're in right now, I think the information we provided over the last 3 days was just exceptional and practical and easy to understand. So thank you very much for that and for the partnership. And I want to remind everybody that we will be sending out an email with the 3 presentations, the PowerPoints, and also any other documentation that could help you answer any questions you may have. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to assist. You're not alone. We know and we understand the pandemic has been hard on all of us. And really, we just want to make sure that we are able to support you and help you keep your business afloat until we get through this, because we will get through this. We'll get through this hopefully sooner than later, but we will get through it, and we'll get, business will get back to normal, and the economy is going to strive, and businesses are going to flourish. But right now, you just got to maintain and make sure you take advantage of the resources that the federal government, the state government, local government are offering to make sure that you sustain your business. I want to thank everybody for joining us over the last 3 days. I want to thank everybody that helped us out, put this together. Luis, I mean, man, you are the backbone of the technology and everything that we got to do here. So we appreciate all your help and all your guidance. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. Please be safe. Please take care of yourselves. Watch out for each other. Wear your mask. Get the vaccine. Do what you have to do to be safe and not get yourselves exposed. Have a wonderful afternoon. And don't forget, MBDA's on Facebook and social media. MileOne's on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. We're out there. So reach out to us if you have any questions or need any assistance. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Take care and be safe.